assuming we're moving on to Supercross?
Yes, let's talk about Supercross.
Yes.
AMA Supercross happened in
Salt Lake City.
It was the big finale for the 250SX. It was the West Coast against the East Coast,
Yes.
all again together. And then the East Coast Championship was actually also decided, whereas the
Yes.
West Coast Championship was decided the previous week.
Correct.
So, do you want to talk about the heats at all? You want to
I
talk about
just
it real
want to
quick?
briefly set up some things before we go into it. So basically, yes, of course, we knew Hayden Deegan had already determined
The 250SX West.
250SX West, so that was already sold. But we did have a couple battles to keep an eye out. So one, of course, for the East Coast boys, we had Tom Vial, we have Seth Hamaker, and RJ Hampshire all competing for the East Coast 250SX Championship.
Yeah.
And just to keep in mind, Tom Vial was defending champ, and RJ Hampshire had won previously the year before the West Coast.
Yes, I remember that.
So he was also technically a defending champ, just
for a different division.
the other division, correct? So it was a big showdown there, which was it's already been a super exciting season for both of all of them, really. It always is. I mean, what am I saying? But then also for the 450 guys, we had some interesting battles. Of course, we had the overall championship battle between Chase Sexton and Cooper Webb, which was, there was a lot has to happen for Chase Sexton to win, but you never know what happens in Supercross.
Yeah, we saw that in the 250
exactly.
race.
So going into the race, Cooper Webb had to place above 5th, I think it was. Yeah.
So
because if he would have placed lower, then
I think 5 or lower, he would have not had enough points if Chase wins.
Sexton won. Exactly. So there was that math happening. And then also, which was an interesting battle, was Malcolm Stewart as well as Justin Cooper. They were now battling for 3rd place in the overall championship.
Because Kenny wasn't there, okay?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Kenny wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would have been Kenny.
Yeah, because since Kenny has been out for the last couple of races,
oh my God.
The 3rd place now was up to those two guys, which is good for them. I mean, because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
If it makes a big difference price check wise for them. So
Yeah.
that was going to be also an interesting battle going into it.
Yeah, it was also awesome to see that, like, we have Malcolm Stewart, who last year didn't have like the best season. You know, I didn't realize that he was coming off an injury, and this season he was doing so well that he's actually fighting for P3 in the championship.
Yeah, and he
That's
got his
awesome.
first win, his first
at
450
home
win
in Tampa.
At home. Yes,
everyone was there.
Yes.
His brother was commentating. His family was in the crowd. I mean,
yes. I mean, how better could that even happen? You know. So going into the East Heat, I just want to mention something. So, of course, we had the 3 competitors for the championship. And unfortunately, RJ, with 2 laps to go, RJ Hampshire got stuck with these cushion things. Or like he gets off track, he gets stuck in these cushions.
I hate these cushion things.
He gets stuck with like wires or something, so he can't get the bike out. So instead of making it immediately, which should have been like an easy move to the main race, he had to go through last chance qualifiers.
Can you tell me again how many qualify into?
I think it's 9.
Okay, the top 9.
Top 9, yes. So that was the big thing, which is such a bummer that RJ had to do the extra step of
because
going
it's also
into
like it's extra energy,
yes,
right? It's a lot of like work. But how long? Do you know how long the LCQ race is?
I don't know by
but it's
heart
still
right
it's
now.
extra energy.
It's still extra energy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then going into the West Coast, of course, we know it was already decided, but of course, there's still racing to be had. And of course, last championship last showdown race, we had Cole Davies, the Kiwi, who had won the race. However, this time he wasn't even competing in the heats because during, I think it was a practice session, accidentally Jordan Smith. So they were both in a practice. They were in a fast lap, or so they thought. And then Cole Davies had slowed down during, I think it was the rhythm section. And Jordan Smith, who was coming behind him, didn't know and didn't see him. So he jumped where Cole Davies was just like riding. And he landed with his front wheel in the middle of Cole Davies's back.
Oh my God.
It was...
The thing about it is also like, the moment he realizes what's happening, you can't do anything. You're in the middle of the air. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Fly away?
No, of course. I
my
felt
God.
like of course, I felt so bad for Cole Davies. I mean, he had such an excellent season. He had to go to the hospital.
Especially also as a rookie, right?
Rookie,
his first year,
17
insane.
years old from New Zealand.
And he's like battling for the championship.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, it was so heartbreaking. He went to the hospital. I don't have any updates at this very moment.
Okay, just keep talking. I'm going to see if I can find anything.
And then, so that was, of course, sad. Jordan Smith, of course, also felt so bad about it. He did start the heat, but he ended up having to quit because he also got some, I think he called it hematomas. So he was hurting a lot, so he couldn't really participate himself. At the beginning of the West Coast heat, lots of riders went down, including our boy Joe Shimoda, which was such a bummer. And then... So, but I guess the end result was for the West Coast heat, Julian Beaumer ended up winning the heat, which was really nice. It was good to see him back in I feel like a little bit better form, because I feel like it dipped a little bit, especially with all the drama happening with Deegan between the two of them. It was nice for him to end at least the heat on a high level. Oh, I see your face.
So Davies posted on IG that he suffered a broken right arm and a broken nose. So that means he's not even going to go into the outdoor season right away. Definitely could have been a lot worse. Grateful to come away somewhat okay. That was a gnarly crash.
Yeah, it was really, really gnarly. I mean, I'm surprised that that's all.
He does have to have surgery.
Yeah, okay. Heartbreaking though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back, so Julian Beaumer won the West Coast heat, and Seth Hammaker ended up getting the whole shot as well as winning the East Coast heat.
Okay.
Then now let's go into the big East Coast, West Coast showdown before we switch into the 450 ones.
So I ended up watching
You ended up watching it with me, which I'm glad you did, because it was also the last
and I'm glad I was
season.
also able to watch it. I was originally thinking about, I'm going to watch the WEC, but I'm like, it's okay. I can watch it later because I'm not watching it live anyways. So who got the whole shot again?
Hayden Deegan got the whole shot, and he immediately...
He drove away. He rode away because it is also then we had the championship, like the ones that are still battling it out for the East Coast Championship, they were behind him. And so obviously when you're battling someone, you're wasting each other's time. Yes. So he was easily just able to ride away and then just like, don't make any mistakes and you win the race. And that's exactly what he did. Then we had Tom Vial in second place, right? And then Tom was... not there. I don't know if he was... No,
he started strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sorry.
He started had a good start, and then he made these little mistakes.
He made little mistakes, but then also he didn't really have the pace. I don't know if the track really wasn't for him. He wasn't really there. And then you had the two other guys, so Seth Hammaker and then RJ Hampshire. They didn't actually have that good of a start. But then Seth was like, I'm going to put... my wrist to work, and then he started overtaking, and then all of a sudden he was behind Tom Vial, and then RJ was also like, hey, I actually want to win again.
Well, yeah, and also RJ had a horrible starting position because he had to go to LCQ, so his gate pick was a little bit later, so of course he didn't have the best pick, so he had to make his way through the crowd then, but that doesn't stop him.
Yeah, both of them carved through the masses, and then all of a sudden both of them were behind Tom, but Tom was not picking it up. Tom was not feeling it, and then Seth got and then you actually had Julian Beaumer in there too. Who is Julian Beaumer is
Tom Vial's teammate,
but he ended up actually passing Tom because he was like, listen, it's not my party. I'm just gonna do my thing.
Well, because it's also like if he stays behind Tom, it could potentially, I mean, it's just things will slow down. Like, he doesn't want to battle Tom. He wants to ride. So if he can pass him, has the pace to pass him. So also Tom doesn't get stopped, really, so they can both keep riding at their pace.
Team orders isn't really that much of a thing as far as I'm understanding this in Supercross, because clearly what Hayden Deegan did to his own teammate last week, that it was, ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, But then, Julian passed Tom. So Tom is in third. And then we have Seth and RJ. And then Seth rolls up to Tom and passes him.
Yes.
And then RJ rolls up to Tom and passes him. And then what does RJ do?
My gosh. So then we have a nice battle between Seth and RJ. It's really like who's going to make the pass, who's going to win.
Who's able to defend the position.
Exactly. Because it really just matters who's going to come in first between the three of them.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Hayden Deegan in the front.
No
offense to him. But like it's really
it doesn't matter. Like you just need to finish ahead of the other two.
Exactly.
Because it's so close.
Yes, and it's like the laps are running out. The time is running out since it's about time there, and then so we have Seth and RJ battling, and they do put in a little bit of body because that's fine. And then there is this turn.
This right-hander.
Is it a right-hander? And I think RJ was on the inside, trying to get the inside ahead of Seth. And then also with that, pass him. But then his bike goes down.
Slides out underneath him, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And then Seth's bike falls on top of RJ's bike.
So RJ essentially wipes out Seth in the same time that he's crashing out. And then like Seth really has the fortunate that his bike is on top.
Yes.
But the bikes are so heavy. So it's not like you can just like reposition this really
and
easily.
And it's also you're on this like not gravelly, like dirty track.
So it's hard to get grip. It's hard. It's not like it's like, it's not like it's concrete where you can just kind of prop it up.
Yes.
These are heavy bikes and then you have no grip. And so he ends up taking both of them out. And enough time passes that Tom is able to pass both of them again, right? Seth makes it quicker back on the bike because once again, his bike is on top of RJ's. And he's able, so then he tries to hunt down Tom Vial again. And RJ just falls back so far back that he was not able to even get into that fighting position again.
Yeah, because it took him quite a while longer to get onto the bike because he also had to walk it down the ramp to position it in a way so he could properly get back on top of it.
Yeah.
So he ended up coming in sixth, which is just a bummer, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we had first place coming in Hayden Deegan, second place Julian Beaumer, and in third place, and again, champion of the East Coast 250 SX is Tom Vial.
Yes. So big congratulations to Tom. I will say, I thought there was enough time for Seth to overtake him again because with the pace that he originally had, but I obviously don't know if he got hurt, if the bike is damaged, but in the end he was not able to make up enough time to pass Tom again, or maybe Tom also had a little bit more pace towards the end.
Really close. I mean, I feel like if it would have been another lap,
I think maybe another couple laps, then maybe.
Yeah.
But it wasn't close enough. And then I think, Tom was also like, okay, this is my second chance. And he was able to defend. So I am happy for Tom. Because, but
I do have to admit, I was rooting a little bit more for Seth.
Because Seth missed out by a small margin last year, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't he get injured?
Well, I thought he got injured, and then so he was out of contention.
Didn't he like his collarbone or something?
That's what you said. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like he had such a great season. And I like his attitude also.
Yeah, he seems like real nice.
Yeah, really nice, but also very calm and just confident.
Yeah.
But not in a cocky way.
Yeah.
He just like knows what he can do and feels confident in it. So I hope that his outdoor season continues to go well because you never know. Like I would hope, of course, next season the Supercross part of the season goes well for him too. But an injury happens so quick in this sport.
Look what happened to Cole Davies, right? You didn't even do anything, right? And someone landed on you, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean that's like even more.
It's a freak accident, of course, but
exactly.
like look at what happened to Austin Faulkner, right? Like,
or Kenny last season when his bike stopped working
and then threw him off, and he broke his leg in like 2 different places and stuff like that, right?
I mean, this sport is brutal.
It is so brutal. I hope they provide good medical.
I doubt it.
I mean, because like you probably already maxed out on your copay. Like, I'm laughing, but it's true, you know.
No, I mean, I didn't realize going into as we became fans of the sport how brutal it is on their bodies.
Because I will also say, I think this season last year started off with not a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And then the first time it was when it went to the East Coast, and then we had that bad Austin Faulkner. I think because I think the first race or so he won and he was doing really well, and then he crashed out, right? And he had this terrible crash where he landed on the concrete.
Oh yes,
You remember? And then
crash.
they made him walk, and I'm like, bro, why do you have the fucking tray to put a human on, and then you're just gonna hold it next to him? You know, like, what is going on? The whole, like, I'm gonna say it. I know this is a big sponsor, that's why you kept bringing it up, but the Alpine medical team needs to start fucking picking it up.
Yeah, I mean, they need to start medicaling.
Yeah,
people.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the people, but sometimes the way it's handled, it seems like this doesn't seem like what I've been taught what you should be doing
like
if
once
someone
you
was
fall,
in an accident.
don't move them, and like don't make him walk. Like put him on a
Especially
bed,
because he did have a spine injury, right?
No, literally, yeah. So that's why I'm like,
Dude.
just be, because they're not by any means fragile, but like once they're injured, you got to take care of them, because they will get back onto the bike as soon as they can.
Yeah,
because maybe also because they have to, because of money and sponsors
I'm sure,
and stuff like that.
100%.
But anyways, so the East Coast Championship is over. West Coast Championship is over.
Mm-hmm.
We're heading outdoors. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the 450.
Essex.
Yes, exactly. The main guys. So the interesting thing about this one was also, in the first heat race, we had Aaron Plessinger. Whole shot. He ended up winning. Malcolm Stewart came in second, which was great for him. Justin Cooper, his competitor for
the third place,
came in third. So it's like, ooh, they're close.
Justin is teammates with Cooper Webb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was like, it was a fun heat. I'm happy that Malcolm came in second. He came in really close to Aaron Plessinger, but second is good. And then in the other heat, we had both championship contenders, Chase Sexton as well as Cooper Webb. Cooper Webb ended up getting the whole shot. However, Chase Sexton,
he just had the pace on this track.
Like
he was so fast.
It's just, all right. Before I say anything, let's just get into the main race. I feel like main race was fine.
Yes. So I think Chase got the whole shot, and then
No.
Chase didn't get got the whole shot.
Aaron Plessinger got the whole shot.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
In the main race.
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't even see him then.
No. Because
He
he
kinda
ended up in
just-
seventh.
He ended up just dropping off. I know that I saw in an interview that he said he wasn't trying to get in any in Chase's and Cooper's way of battling it out, Cooper Webb's way.
Yeah, because Aaron is also teammates with Chase.
Yes. Chase ended up leading the race really, like he overtook, I guess, Aaron pretty quickly, and then he was leading the race, and he was leading the race comfortably.
Yeah, he ended up winning the race,
Yes.
spoiler, by 9.5 seconds.
Yeah, so he was comfortably leading the race. We did have Cooper Webb in second place, and so second place meant that he would win it.
Yes.
But then he didn't really have that much pace this weekend around.
I don't know if he also maybe played it just a little bit safe.
I don't know, because then you had his teammate come
Yes.
up, right? And then his teammate was like, okay, I'm not going to overtake you, right? But then we had Malcolm, and Malcolm was like, I have no loyalty to any of you.
Yes.
Mother effers, which is fair. You're not in a team with
Nope.
anyone. So then he was like, listen, I'm going to overtake all of you motherfuckers. And so
he
that,
did.
and he did. So then, I don't know why, but then Justin Cooper did ended up taking over Cooper Webb.
Because he did have a good amount of pace, and he knew Malcolm can't get
Yes.
too far away.
I think that's what ended up happening.
Yes.
It would have been fine if Malcolm would have not shown up. But then
Yeah.
Malcolm did show up. He was like, hey guys, remember me?
Yes.
From Florida, what I did? I'm going to try to do that again.
Yes.
And so he so then of course he did have to answer.
Yeah.
So Cooper was in fourth place then. But I think if I remember correctly, there was quite a gap to fifth place.
Yeah, it was like 4 seconds. So he was because we knew going into it, if he comes in fourth and Chase wins it, he's still fine.
By 2 points,
He
right?
will win by 2 points, and that's exactly what happened.
Yes.
He played it. He didn't push too hard. I mean, Cooper's good. Cooper Webb. I mean, both Coopers are
Yes,
good.
but Cooper Webb specifically,
Yeah, he's consistent. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Yes.
I mean, he had this crazy superpower in
He
the
is
mud
Mr.
race.
Consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is Mr. Consistent. And that's literally what hurt Chase.
Yeah.
He had such a strong, I think, end of the season. He
Yeah.
had this little dip in the middle, which just hurt him.
And this is what people talk about, like in Formula One and MotoGP,
Yeah.
right? Talking about what is it? Pecco Bagnaia missing the points by one, right? By one position, right? At the end, you might lose the championship.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
And I think Chase also said it in his post-race interview that it was really his own fault.
Yeah.
If he would have, kept it together for one of those races, then he would have won the championship. Who knows? Maybe Cooper Webb would have had more fight in him in that last race, because he obviously knew, like, I just have to come in fourth.
But it's such a bummer by 2 points.
By 2 points.
And I mean, we've not been shy about it. Cooper Webb is not our favorite.
He is not.
But I do have to say, and I think we both agree with it at the end. First of all, I had seen him during the opening ceremony. He rode on to with his introduction. He came on with his daughter or one of his children on the bike, which was really sweet because he's clearly a dad.
Yeah.
And then in the post-race interview, or there was another interview that they showed where he was also talking about that he is not... They showed a clip essentially about his family life before the race. Yes, that is true.
Yes.
Yeah, and where he also talks about that he doesn't necessarily look like some of the other riders, especially, I mean, if you compare him like Chase Sexton, he looks much more like an athlete, quote unquote athlete, than Cooper Webb does, because he seems to have a little bit more than a dad bod.
Yeah, but not even in an intense way.
No.
It's just like you're literally comparing someone to like a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And not that Cooper Webb is
They're
obviously
both
not
professional
a professional
athletes,
athlete. But like Chase obviously looks like really built and tall, and like Cooper Webb is obviously also in very good physical health and conditioning, but he just doesn't look physically as built.
Yes.
And part of me also, like, after seeing this, like, I also feel a little bit bad because I hope he doesn't have any insecurities about that, because, like, dude,
you don't have to.
You don't have to. You're a 3 times Supercross champion.
Yes, and I think he's one of 7 people who've won it now 3 times. So it's like, it's so few people who have been able to make this great accomplishment. And you could also see during the podium ceremony, like, how much it really meant to him.
Because last year it was so close for him too, right? Last year he missed out by a margin as well.
Yes, exactly, against Jet Lawrence. So then this time winning it, and he was also saying, like, he didn't think that he would be able to do it again, and he's really going to take it in this time because it might be his last time doing it. I mean, you never know, but it's just it's just nice to see.
Sorry, he also did now surpass with his championship Eli, right? Eli has 2 Supercross championships. James Stewart has 2. So this is quite a huge accomplishment. Right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Part of me is also like really excited because we both don't know how much we'll be watching the outdoors again. But part of me is also really excited for next year's Supercross. I know we just finished, right? But to have also like the Lawrence brothers back on track, right? To have Eli hopefully back, to have Kenny back on track healthy, because then you also have a lot of really like strong competitors back in that we did miss out. You know, especially I would say Jet Lawrence, obviously very unfortunate he was never able to defend his championship. So it's really exciting to also go back, but once again, huge props to Cooper Webb for making it possible. And you know, we talked about this a bunch of times that he is Mr. Consistent. He's also so strong in the second half of the race always. And not to like disrespect him, but also Cooper Webb is not the youngest anymore, right? It's not like he's like, what is Jet is like 20 or something like that, right?
Early 20s, yeah.
And Cooper Webb is, what is he? 28?
Maybe? Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Cooper Webb is 29.
Okay.
So it does make a difference.
I mean, of course it makes a difference, but yeah, I'm just excited. I have to admit, I am now really excited for him. I was rooting for Chase.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have no qualms with Cooper Webb winning because he deserved it. I mean, he rode his season. He was consistently really good. He had like 2, I think, races where he didn't do quite as well. Yeah. But I mean, it's just the numbers add up, and he won. I mean, really the most impressive race for me for Cooper Webb was the Foxborough mud race, because he came out of nowhere and ended up taking like so many places. I mean,
but it's also like Kenny getting fucking stuck in the mud.
Whoa, that was so frustrating.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, he is Mr. Consistent, right? And this is what wins you championships in the end, right? You show up to the podium every weekend, you're right? You don't have to win that many races. That was last year the case too, right? He didn't win that many, but he won enough to almost, you know. Yeah. So, really excited for him. Yeah, and when you see how much it means to them, like, like no matter who I'm rooting for, like in the end I can't be like, oh, it sucks that you won, because it means so much to you, right?
For the most part, the only person so
yeah,
far.
Yeah, Hayden Deegan. Like
yeah,
that,
exactly. So that's the only person I'm like, ugh, I don't know.
It's just also like, it's more also like your behavior around it and the way you act. And I get that you're 19, but it's like, I'm like, you know, because like other people in your category don't act like this and they're your age.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not a good look.
No.
Anyways.
Anywho, moving on.
So that wraps up Supercross.
Yes.
However, I believe you have some news that you wanted to share with me.
There was 2 things I wanted to talk about. I'm sure maybe you've heard about those things already, but we haven't really spoken about those things.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to bring it